Now they're moving, and I got Pentagon declassified documents, to just fly over us and spray the viruses on us. We get a headache, we get sick, and then it destroys our receptors that allow us to think or become angry. And so that's clearly where they're going, not just lacing the vaccines with this. Please continue.
Yeah, and the other aspect of this, I mean, you mentioned a few minutes ago, is this multi-level attack on the family unit. And I've got really seriously into one area of this over the last 6 months, which is the state stealing children from loving parents. It is an absolute epidemic in Britain. I was speaking at Trafalgar Square on Saturday at a rally against child abuse in which this stealing children by the state was a fundamental part of it. I've been getting involved in one or two individual cases and trying to give my support to mothers who've had. I'll give you one example. A young daughter, she's now 10. Says the father has been abusing her for years. The mother takes the daughter to social services and the police and says, this is what she's saying, and I want unsupervised visits to the father stopped until we've sorted this out. They refuse to investigate, and when she then starts action against the police and the social services for not investigating, they then say to her, we think you're a split personality, and away goes the child, and they give the child to the relative of the father.
But David, specifically, I've had members of British Parliament on, and it's even in your mainstream news, in the London Telegraph, that there are quotas on children before they're even born for the adoption racket.
That's right, and financial incentives around the world to meet these targets, which means if you can't find enough genuinely abused children by their parents, then you have to find those that are not. But of course, it's not only that, Alex, as we know. I mean, a lot of these kids I mean, if you're a satanic pedophile ring, and those two usually connect, in fact, almost always connect at some point, then you need a supply of children, a constant supply of children. Of course, the social services can do that. In fact, they can target children. I know this is going on, Alex, where someone will target someone, a child. They'll see a child in the community, and they'll say, I want that child. And then someone from the ring in social services then finds a reason why the child shouldn't be with the parents, some spurious reason. We've had a situation here. This is one of endless ones where this woman and her husband, she had fertility treatment, £38,000 worth, gave birth to twins. A social worker came round when they came out of hospital. She made a joke, hey, having giving birth has ruined my figure, and they took her child away. And when she got angry, as you would, they said, oh, the mother's also got anger problems and therefore a danger to the child. And this is going on epidemic-wise. And in the cases that I've been involved in, and I'm involved in, I've seen blatant lies where the social services have put into reports the mother has faked medical evidence of abuse on the child, and I've seen the doctor's report where it came from. It wasn't faked at all. So it's all lies. And what they've done, this is another element of it, and not just in social services, but very, very significantly so, because of the children being taken, but in government in general. They are using job application techniques to elicit narcissistic personalities who have no empathy, who have no compassion, who have no ability to empathize with the agony of loving parents having their children taken away, and they're getting the jobs in social services, which is why all these parents say it's like talking to a computer. These people have no soul. But
David, going back, they're constantly catching the heads of social services worldwide running pedophile rings. I mean, that's even CNN. But expanding on that, this is part of a larger agenda. As you know, when they set up eugenics 150 years ago, now 160 years ago in England, by the turn of the century, 1900, they created racial hygiene health departments in Germany, England, the U.S., and Canada that openly, so the health department itself is to carry out eugenics. And that's why they now admit blood is taken secretly at birth from all babies in the West and put in a Pentagon database.
Yeah, and what's going on in this country, and I did research for my latest book in America as well on this, it's happening there, big time happening there, places like California, is that they are taking so many children from parents. There was a story in the mainstream media a few days ago where they were saying we're going to run out of foster parents because we're having record numbers of children taken from their families. Now, what this is, of course, linking into what we're talking about today, handing it to the state.
And now they're saying...
stone to what Older Subsidy was talking about.
And China's the model of the one-child policy. Many of their children are raised in government dormitories.